My name is And from And Speak on Tumblr, and I am the creator of the Bucket Armor post. I'd like to give you some more information about how I made the bucket armor and how you might be able to make it yourself. I also want to give yet another disclaimer that I have not combat tested this bucket armor, and so I would not recommend using it for any sort of SCA, HEMA, or even LARP events. So by that I mean to say it is, as of right now, purely decorative. So let's talk about what it's actually constructed out of. What I used was the cover for a old metal sap bucket container, which is made out of galvanized steel. I don't know what the thickness of the steel is, I haven't tested it, and I don't know enough about metal to discern what it is just by looking and feeling, so that is all the information that I can give you as of right now. As for what I did to it after procuring the materials, I think we need to get a closer look at the actual chest plate to better explain that. So this is the bucket armor as it currently stands. It is two sap bucket covers. This is the back of the chest plate. This is the front. And so the straps go together such that it creates a chest piece like so. These are the shoulder straps. These are the waist straps. And I will go into some more detail about how I attach these and how it fits on the body. Let's take a look at some of the hardware that I used to implement the snaps and the rivets, I suppose. From now on, I will call these snaps and these rivets. These were the first set of straps that I created to go around the waist. The material was much too thin and the snaps and rivets were not holding to it. So for all the other straps that I ended up making, they are twice as thick as this using a different faux leather material. But you can see the snaps work as such, and essentially how I made these was I put the snap on first on the double thick faux leather, and then I riveted it on after the fact. You can get rivets in large quantities at places like Joann Fabric, online, and I think even at places like hardware stores, and they come with all the pieces necessary in order to attach them to things. As for the snaps, the same situation. All the instructions for how they function are in the package that they come in, and all you need is a hammer. Also, in order to get the rivets through the metal, I marked out where I needed them to go with pencil and then drilled a hole using a power drill. After that, I hammered the rivets in with a standard hammer. So it's quite loud, but here's the chest plate off the body. And it goes on like this. Well, here's the whole thing. And it goes on, the front does not have the straps, and so I put it on like so. Now we have snaps here and here that attach to the straps on the sides. Super easy. And now it is on. That's the whole thing. Obviously, I'm not wearing any chainmail underneath right now, so it's quite roomy. But once I have all my other armor pieces on, gambeson, other things, it fits nice and snug. Good thing to note about wearing it on, these sections right here, I have attempted to fold over twice to allow more room for arm motion. It's only partially succeeded. It's still somewhat restrictive when I try to put my arms out and not bend them at all to bring them together. which is why I wouldn't necessarily consider this design my optimal design. If I were to do it again, I would probably find a way to cut the metal wider here, like historical chest plates were, and then fold that edge under. Almost all of the edges on the front and the back are folded over at least once so that there are no raw metal edges exposed for safety purposes. Getting it off is basically just as easy as getting it on. I carefully unsnap it from these bits here. Now it is loose, and I can take it off nice and easy. The outside I have cleaned and polished. The insides, however, I have not. So you can see what it looked like before I worked on it and after I worked on it. Working on it also including initial sanding down of any rusty areas and general really large imperfections. So you can notice the difference there. As for shaping and how I shaped it to my body, most of it was done by hand. Like, the metal is not that stiff, which is why it worked incredibly well for me as someone who has zero metalworking, well, not zero, but very minimal metalworking experience before this. So most of it was hand-shaped. Everything that wasn't hand-shaped was hammered out with a standard 16-ounce woodworking hammer, I suppose. So, absolutely minimal tools. So that is how I shaped it. And basically how I shaped it is the bottom curves around my body at the bottom, and the top curves in over my chest at the top. Now let's put it all together. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something or other about how I made my chest plate and maybe some information on how to make your own. If you do, best of luck. Thanks. Good day.